Exclusive, Aldama pointed out before the judge that the company Apamate was channeling illegal financing for Pedro Sanchez's Socialist Party through Zapatero and Ábalos. Let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of Medidas Cautelares. Today we have a bombshell, an exclusive from Medidas Cautelares. And pay close attention because the businessman Victor de Aldama implicated the company Apamate before National Court Judge Ismael Moreno, which we talked about a few weeks ago, here exclusively. In Medidas Cautelares, as the key vehicle for channeling the illegal financing of the party. Socialist Party funds coming from Nicolas Maduro's regime, specifically to finance Pedro Sanchez's Socialist Party and the Socialist International, which is presided over by Pedro Sánchez through two people. Former Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero and the former Minister of Transport José Luis Ábalos. Let's go with this bombshell that we're sharing exclusively on Medidas Cautelares, and remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, since we're already at around 150,000 subscribers. If you want to have the best information, subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified every time we upload a video to the channel. And we already have on screen this very important information, this exclusive that we're sharing on Medidas Cautelares. Look at this image with Pedro Sánchez at the top, on the left Victor de Aldama, below former Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, and on the right Nicolas Maduro. All of them are key figures, and we also have to add the former Minister of Transport, José Luis Ábalos. The businessman Victor de Aldama implicated the company Apamate before the judge for channeling the illegal financing of the PSOE. Through the former Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero and the then Minister of Transport José Luis Ábalos. Aldama gave a secret statement last March before the judge of Central Investigative Court No. 2 of the National Court Ismael Moreno as part of the investigation into the illegal financing of the Socialist Party. In that statement, Aldama provided the envelope with the famous $250 million in oil quotas from the Venezuelan state company PDVSA, which we exclusively revealed in Medidas Cautelares and Libertad Digital more than a year ago. This procedure, this illegal financing of the PSOE, is being investigated by agents of the Central Operational Unit of the Civil Guard, the UCO. Well, as we have learned in Medidas Cautelares, Victor de Aldama explained to Judge Moreno in that secret statement that the company Apamate Corporate and Trust, which is indeed the name of the Apamate company, linked to the banker associated with Chavismo and drug trafficking, supposedly deceased Francisco Flores, was key in the illegal financing operation of Pedro Sanchez's PSOE. This company channeled the oil quotas from the Venezuelan state company PDVSA worth $250 million, which were used to irregularly finance the Socialist Party and the Socialist International presided over by Sánchez. Aldama told Judge Moreno that Apamate is a key company in the PSOE's criminal scheme to illegally finance itself with funds from Nicolas Maduro's Venezuelan regime. The businessman explained in the national hearing that Ábalos started the procedures to channel the funds, the PDVSA oil quotas, through Apamate, and that later José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero took over this management. The same sources consulted state that, according to Aldama's testimony before Judge Moreno, Zapatero channeled PDVSA quotas worth $250 million through Apamate and Francisco Flores, making different payments and using bank accounts in various countries such as Panama or Russia. It should be remembered that within the framework of the Coldo scheme, the Central Operative Unit of the Civil Guard already confirmed that Apamate Corporate Trust transferred 300,000 euros to Aldama's company, Deluxe Fortune, on January 3, 2020. This payment was made just 16 days before the then number 2 of Nicolas Maduro's Venezuelan regime, Telsi Rodriguez, who now leads Venezuela, landed at Madrid's Barajas airport. This payment, just like the visit of Maduro's number 2 to our country, is related to the illegal financing of the PSOE and the Socialist International, which has been presided over by Pedro Sánchez since November 2022. In fact, there were other payments made for the same purpose. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court is expected to issue rulings in the next few hours on the first trial of the Coldo case, in which former Minister of Transport José Luis Ábalos, former advisor Coldo Garcia, and Aldama himself were tried. If businessman Aldama is sentenced to a prison term, his cooperation with the justice system in cases like this illegal financing of the PSOE would cease immediately. Therefore, the Supreme Court has a very important decision to make regarding Aldama's sentence. It may be that Aldama, who has been tried by the court for criminal organization and repeated bribery, could even be sentenced to up to 4 years in prison if neither of the two crimes exceeds 2 years. If neither of those two crimes separately exceeds 2 years, Aldama would not go to prison even if he were sentenced to 4 years. The decision is in the hands of the Supreme Court. And here you have the famous envelope we've talked about so many times in precautionary measures, which included those oil quotas worth $250 million in prison. Oil worth $250 million from PDVSA. And well, Apamate, which is a company I mentioned to you for the first time a couple or 3 weeks ago or a month ago, I can't remember anymore, now also appears in the investigation of the Plus Ultra case, the Zapatero case. Specifically, the company Apamate Corporis, a corporate and trust, takes its name from one of the most emblematic ornamental trees of Venezuela, which is the Apamate, famous for its spectacular pink blossoms. Well, this company is managed by the Spanish citizen born in Venezuela, Carlos Parra Delgado. The Economic and Fiscal Crime Unit of the National Police, the UDEF, identified this company during the investigation of the Plus Ultra case, which is led by the head of the Central Investigating Court No. 4 of the National Court, José Luis Calama. The order from Judge Calama, in which former president of the government, José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, is charged. In the Plus Ultra case, for crimes of criminal organization, influence peddling, or forgery. He made several references to the company Apamate and to Zapatero's late frontman, Francisco Flores. Just a reminder, Kingdom is the business group created by Francisco Flores, the businessman allegedly linked to drug trafficking and Chavismo who had reportedly died. Kingdom and its foundation announced his death last February at the age of 55, but there are many doubts about whether this death happened as it has been told, that is, whether there was actually a death. It's a doubt that the investigators of this case have, as if it were a movie, of course. And this is the exclusive information that we are revealing and moving forward with in precautionary measures. The businessman Victor de Aldama pointed to the company Apamate as the key piece in the illegal financing of Pedro Sánchez's Socialist Party, with funds coming from Nicolás Maduro's regime, which were used to finance the PSOE and the Socialist International, which is presided over by Pedro Sánchez himself. This channeling of funds from PDVSA's oil quotas worth $250 million would have been received, thanks to the role played by former Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero and former Minister of Transport José Luis Ábalos. These funds would have been channeled through various payments and bank accounts located in Panama or Russia. And all of this was pointed out by Victor de Aldama himself in his secret statement last March before the judge of the National Court, Ismael Moreno, who is investigating the case of the illegal financing of Pedro Sánchez's Socialist Party. This is the very important information that I have just shared with you exclusively here, in precautionary measures, and remember, because later this information will appear in other media outlets. Sometime later, of course, as always, without mentioning us, but you will know perfectly well. All the subscribers and even those who haven't subscribed yet but watch these videos, you know that this information appeared here for the first time. Here on Medidas Cautelares, that's it for this edition of Medidas Cautelares. I hope you liked this extremely important exclusive report, and if so, leave me your opinion, your comments. What do you think? Don't forget to hit the like button so these videos get pushed up on YouTube, so it gets recommended to many subscribers and non-subscribers so they can watch it. You can keep supporting Medidas Cautelares by subscribing and becoming a member for less than the cost of 3 social outings. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the bell. You can also make a contribution via Bizum at 627-556-370. The most important thing, as I always say, is that this information reaches everyone because information is power. See you soon.